All right, I'm Robbie, and I'm just providing color commentary for this game.
I'm Alex. I'm playing Circle.
I'm Nick, and I play Signar, and I like to party.
All right, so to start things out, we'll talk about terrain. The beige felt is hills, green felt is forests, and then we got two walls on the sides. Playing outflank, so each zone's worth 1 to control, 2 to dominate, and there is no kill box.
That is correct. And the felt on the bottom of the screen, we were going to use to roll dice in, and then Alex pointed out later on that my dice are probably too small to be seen anyway, so we kind of abandoned that.
Yeah,
I think later on.
Little 12mm chess X, not the best for.
I gotta get big boy dice like you
camera
guys.
That's 5 feet away. So a couple things to go over about this game before we get started. In my list, you're going to see a unit of skinwalkers and what looks like a bunch of light beasts and solos. I think there's 3 werewolves, an Argus, and a Tharn Whitemane. Those are all supposed to be posse. I'm proxying them. My posse are being assembled right now. So sorry about that. Well, I'll make sure I have real posse next time.
They could just be some Shanghai Gatorman posse or something.
Yeah, definitely.
They got recruited.
And then Nick has a little story about his list.
Yeah. So in my list, I'm playing Epic Haley. I've got Bonded Stormwall. I've got Thorn, Stormstrider, full unit of Gun Mages, Squire Jr., min unit of Blazers. And for some reason, I was painting the Blazers, and I only had the min unit painted up. And when I originally did the list, I thought for some reason that I had a max unit. And I was like, oh, this is an easy 4-point swap. Since I only brought the min, I'll just sub in the Black 13. Well, joke's on me. Math is hard. And that 4 points of Black 13 never should have been in the list. So I'm illegally playing 4 points up. And neither Alex nor I realized it until much later in the night. And we were like talking online. He was like, oh, yeah, Nick, by the way, did you realize it? I was like, oh, God, I'm the worst person in the world.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's no proxies. Everything is as it is.
I suppose I should actually say what my list is as well. Playing Epic Kruger with 2 Stalkers and a Gorax, 2 units of Posse, and Wrong-Eye and Snapjaw, and 2 trees and a Black Cloud. So this is a very unconventional list for both Circle and the way I play Circle in general. The general idea behind the list is that it's a hard counter to Signar. I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but I'm playing around with it. The game plan is that Kruger spells Stormwall, which does -5 range to range attacks that start in his control, and his feat, which is enemy models are pushed back 3 and suffer -2 speed. Those 2 abilities combined should deliver the Posse extremely well, and Posse in general are already very resilient against the POW-10 shooting that armies like Signar and Ret bring a lot. And then the other goal behind the list is that Wrong-Eye and Snapjaw are supposed to hunker down at the edge of the zone that I'm not pushing as hard against, and their Submerge is very nice against gun-heavy armies like Signar. So they just should be able to hold a zone by themselves, and Snapjaw threatens 12 inches against living models by himself, not including things like TKs or Black Cloud Hunter's Mark.
All right, let's get this thing started.
Yeah.
So it looks like Wrong-Eye and Snapjaw are basically just going to go for that bottom zone and hunker down.
That's the general game plan. This is only my first time playing this list. I think second or third time playing Wrong-Eye and Snapjaw, and first time playing with Posse. Like I said, they're being assembled. So things quickly go off the rails as my inexperience with how all my army's elements are supposed to play. But general game plan is Wrong-Eye, Snapjaw, hold the bottom zone. Kruger pushes hard on the top zone. But I deployed poorly, considering I knew where the Strider and Stormwall were to begin with. Wrong-Eye and Snapjaw should have been deployed against the Stormstrider, because Stormstrider really can't do anything to them, whereas the Bonded Stormwall can kill Snapjaw without breaking a sweat.
Yeah, and on my side of the table, I mean, Alex and I had played the E. Kruger, E. Haley matchup before, and he played a much different variation than the list that he's playing today. And I dropped Epic Haley simply because I feel like I need a lot more practice with her. She's an incredibly powerful caster, but much like Epic Kruger, you need practice with her in order to really find out like what all of her, the kind of idiosyncrasies and kind of little finesse parts of the list and whatnot. And I'm not really sure if this list is really strong suited to fight against Circle. I mean, Alex and I had talked about it, kind of a little bit before and after the game, because I thought about taking my Epic Kane list, which is a carbon copy of Keith Christensen, and both Alex and I kind of agreed that, if I would have done that Kane really can't shoot Kruger, and then most of the melee that I have in the list is really shut down by his feet, and I can't really feet back and really take anything of great value. So I don't think Kane's the right call. Maybe Craig. Craig's got guided fire. He's got some mage sight to kind of help out with the stealth that's kind of going on with the forest and stuff. And then he's got the threat range with the storm wall and the boosted attack rolls on his feet. But I was actually quite surprised how well the Haley list handled. I didn't think I was going to do quite as well, and I think I'm just asking Alex to show me his cards because I'm like, I don't remember anything what these guys do.
Yeah, if you've never played against Wrong Eye and Snapshot, they can really put the hurt on you. Yeah,
for sure. And the 2 units of Posse, I kind of figured were going to be a problem. But being able to have, 3 PAL 15 shots, either from the Storm Wall or from the Storm Strider with Temporal Acceleration. I got Deadeye, so I can, slap it on my Gun Mage units or the Blazers or whatever. I've got Thorn on the hard flank, so he can be trying to mess with guys with some spells. I felt like I had enough tools to kind of keep it interesting, but I was still kind of weary going into it, I don't know if, my list is really good, or I don't know if, the tools that are brought to the table are going to be enough.
We brought guns with Epic Haley. I think you'll be fine.
All right, so my first turn, so Alex pretty much, I saw he was positioning super aggressively towards the one zone, and he only had a couple of things to the zone at the bottom. So I just allocate out some focus. And my plan here is that I'm just going to run to get in position. And so the gun mages take off. And I figure if I could get a beat on the tree or, at least try to use some thunderbolt shots, kind of push the wolf out of the zone, it'd be all right, I think. And I make this hideous formation over there, but it looked good at the time, I think. And yeah, I mean, I've got to be conscious of Storm Wall, the spell, and I got to make sure that I don't misposition my stuff, because he can definitely stop the Blazers from getting any good attacks or even the Storm Strider. And yeah,
in between the legs.
In between the legs, baby. It's like how we like to do it. So yeah, I just put the Storm Wall in a pseudo-neutral position. I figured that if he committed Wrong Eye or the Stalker, I could get in there and try and do some damage. So now Haley's going. So I'm going to spend some focus, and what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to temporal accelerate the Storm Strider, because I want to try and get a couple shots off. I figure if I can maybe shoot a tree or get some lucky Electro Leaps, and then I TK, and then Haley basically moves over out of the way. And my plan was to just try to pepper some shots into his units to try and soften him up on the way in. And Black 13th, I think, just advance up.
So you didn't decel, right?
I did not deceleration, no.
I have one gun in my list, so probably not the best use of
gun,
focus.
Yeah, it's a very good
Yes,
gun.
to be fair, Kruger's gun is scary. Haley camping, nothing, is quite killable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With a range 10, about 12.
And Arcane Shield hasn't gone out yet, right?
Arc Shield is on the Storm Wall. I think the junior walked up and slapped it on him.
If he didn't, he's going too soon, but looks like he probably already did.
And actually, in retrospect, I think maybe I should have put Arcane Shield on the Storm Strider, because I think, given the position of everything, I think it would have been a bit better. So now what I'm going to try to do, and I moved where I thought was a good position. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try and shoot somebody. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay. I think I can. I think I can shoot the tree or the wolf. And right when I go to declare it, I forget that Alex has Stormwall up. So he measures, and he's like, well, your range is 9 inches. And I'm like, okay, well, there goes any of that.
Yeah.
So he was done.
Looking at the positioning there, Strider has a range 14 gun. I've got a control range of 14. It would take him some pretty masterful eyeballing, or you can use Haley's control to get a good idea, but you probably would have had to be shooting the Blackclad,
Yeah.
which wastes your high POW shot on his immune to electricity to just bounce POW 10s into ARM 17 and 16
Yeah,
models.
so at that point, you might as well just shoot a storm pod.
I think
Looks like you might have been able to get one of those Gatormen that are proxied as Werewolves down below Kruger. But again, the positioning would have to be extremely good, because it looks like the farthest thing up, aside from the Blackclad, is between 1 inch and half an inch, judging by the video here.
I think the mistake that I made is I didn't move the Blazers first. If I would have moved the Blazers first, I could have. Oh yeah, so talk about what just happened here.
Yeah, so for some reason I can't count to 7 and put. I think my Stalker down in the forest has 2 on him for some reason, and each of the other 2 beasts have 1, which comes up to 8 Fury. Gorax gets 1 left on him, and Frenzy's eating or putting like 4 damage onto one of those proxy gators. So that was a great use of a turn for the Gorax.
Yeah, I got extremely lucky there. I mean, I don't know what happened there. I just think it was an honest mistake.
Like I said, really unfamiliar with the moving parts on this list, especially the fact that I don't have stones. Almost every single turn 1, I put 1 extra Fury out on the Gorax and park him next to a stone. On that off chance that someone gets a shot on my caster, I have to transfer one damage roll, and I still have can still go up to full health or full Fury next turn, because if I don't, the Gorax just gets a Fury pulled off from a stone through Serenity. It's a no risk insurance.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Unless you don't have stones, and then there's quite a bit of risk. So Gorax moved up, did his Fury stuff. At this point, the plan in my head is, all right, I'm going to feat, slow down the storm wall, and kill the Strider. Unfortunately, again, unfamiliarity with the list, things go off the rails pretty quick here. I think the Blackclad's about to start and stick a Hunter's Mark, but we'll see here in a second. I take a little bit of time to deliberate things.
Now, Hunter's Mark makes them threat up to 12, the Gatorman posse.
Let's see. Posse, against a non-living target, they would threat 12 like they normally do against living. They threat 14 against living models.
Okay.
Unfortunately, all of Nick's models are def 15, so all the living ones anyways. Hard to hit an 8 on
Right.
a gun mage or a gun mage cav. So I was really just trying to really make sure I got in on his huge base models.
Yeah.
Sticking a Magic 7 on def 10 is
Pretty easy.
Right.
not hard.
Yeah.
So you're thinking the Stalker's going to get in there,
Yeah,
basically do it all himself.
Plan, as we'll see here, is Stalker charges in with Hunter's Mark and possibly a TK. He's going to get base to base, and that guarantees him 3 swings with the Storm Strider's ability to push a model that hits it 1 inch away. I hit 1 set base to base, 1 set exactly 1 inch away, and then at exactly 2 inches, you are still within, so I get my 3rd swing.
Right.
And I think the math works out that better than average. A Stalker kills a Storm Strider swinging 3 times with his sword.
And then he's 3 inches further back. It's almost like he sprinted.
Almost, yeah. He's a straight dice. Strider is 22 or 24 boxes. Stalker straight dice does like 10. Yeah, he does something like 24 damage on average rolls. That's if I don't have prime.
Plan.
That's if I don't have primal, which of course I don't, because the Gorax is frenzied this turn. So, not sure what is taking me so goddamn long to do this, but there we go. Finally move in. I think I was debating where Kruger needs to end up to try and defeat this turn.
I think it was positioning. I think you were trying to be aware of.
So Kruger's going to put Primal on the Stalker himself?
No. The reason I wanted the Gorax to do it, because Kruger needs... I'm thinking Kruger's going to be TKing and Stormwall. Leaves him with 2. Do not want Kruger sitting at nothing against a ranged army. even with his feet and Stormwall up. It's just too risky with those long range guns like the Stormwall has. And it is in no way confusing that my caster has a spell called Stormwall, and all we need now is for Nick to play Nemo 3 so that I can cast the Animus Lightning Strike and he can shoot a Lightning Strike.
There we go.
And then I'll cast Stormwall and he will activate Stormwall. So here I TK the Stalker. I think if I didn't, Stalker wouldn't have reached base to base.
So now here was this painful realization that Alex had made a big mistake, and
Kruger's feat is a pulse, not an aura. So,
and
all the effects on it happen when he pops it, not.
So you feed it and then charge?
No, I charged and then realized I had failed my charge and couldn't feed.
Yeah.
I need to be up to get Stormwall. And if Stormwall's not under my feet, he threatens, 15 inches, I think? Without a TK on the target?
I think it's 14.
14 or 15. With Stormwall up, he threatens 10. So.
Right, and what were you attempting to charge with Kruger?
I think he just charged one of the Black 13th just to get the position he wanted. I wanted him in the zone so that he could potentially dominate. So Stalker moves in, charged into the forest. I think that's why I TK'd him, so he could charge at an angle, get into the forest, make sure that I could potentially get one extra attack in, because if you're in rough terrain, even with Pathfinder, you get moved at half speed from pushes.
Yeah, that's pretty legit.
Because Pathfinder only affects you during your activation.
Yeah. And Alex and I are talking about it now. He's like, I think the push, if it specifically states it's still an inch. And I was like, I think you might be right. I think it's only half an inch. And then we looked in the rule book, and Steven was there helping us, our buddy, our friend, who's making all this possible. And we determined it was half an inch, so he's going to be able to get 4 attacks.
Yeah, I was just confusing pushes that state push any distance, such as drags. Those ones are never stopped by any sort of movement effects like rough terrain. But yeah, any push that specifies a distance, you move that distance, include sans any modifiers from terrain. So because of that, the Stalkers only going half inch, means that if I needed to, I would have had an extra attack. I think I missed one there.
No, I think you hit. I think it was.
Oh no, that's right. I was boosting damage.
Yeah, and you got rid of him.
Yeah, so
real fast.
I think I killed him in 3 swings, just like I thought I would.
Yeah. So my biggest thing about this list, because Alex and I talked about this, I love the Storm Strider with her, and I think he's actually really good. I think I just need to work on his positioning, and there comes a time where it's okay not to have Arcane Shield on the Storm Wall and plop it over on him possibly. And so now Alex is. Why don't you tell us what's going on right now?
So I still committed to killing the Strider because, god damn it, I've already spent half my stack doing that, and I was gonna. I felt like it was a good idea to kill it anyways, but I'm in panic mode because I have a caster with 2 Fury sitting in the middle of the board. So I decide I need to sacrifice a Gatorman Posse to make sure that he can't just aim his Stormwall and shoot me to death. So here's the posse full of proxied solos moving up. Wanted to make sure I could get as far up as I could because the posse on the other side are going to have to move through the cloud, which is a Mage Storm, which is dice off 4. So moving them up, trying to get base to base on Kruger. These two getting base to base are going to block line of sight. The rest are going to try and block movement so that the Stormwall can't charge Kruger. Because I believe he's close enough that is going to be a thing. So, unfortunately, things go even worse for this unfortunate unit of proxied Gators because first Gorax almost half kills one, and then
that was this guy, right?
Next Nick just rolls boxcars, which does exactly 8 points to an armor 16 model and kills another one.
Nice.
Yeah, that was
I believe I risk one more in the cloud.
All part of the plan.
Don't know. Don't remember how much he took.
I think it was just 2 or 3 or something like that. Because they roll a 4 and then maybe like a 1 or 2.
He definitely took something because I'm marking it.
Yeah. Took a little bit, I think. I think 2 maybe.
If I had to guess, I'd say 2 or 3. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Something
I've
minuscule.
got one more there. Not sure where he's going. I'm marking some damage here, some D8s. And that's why I wanted to make sure. Yeah, being at 4 wounds, there was no way that one was going into a 5/12 cloud. So he's making it so Stormwall can't charge laterally where the cloud is right now and still get to Kruger, because he could definitely do that. Especially if that Gator with the green D8 died.
So at this point, the biggest challenge Nick has is trying to figure out what of the many ways he can kill you that he's going to choose.
Yep. So
There's
other
with an epic
posse.
Haley list with that many guns. I mean, this is looking pretty bad, Alex.
Yep. I made a big mistake and a bunch of little mistakes that definitely compounded things. So second posse moves up. The one guy closest to Kruger is base to base. Make it even harder. Keep those blazers off Kruger, because 15-15 is not a great stat line to be at with a opposing caster having Deadeye and a bunch of Rat 7 and 8 troops.
Yeah, and I, much like Kruger, also have access to telekinesis, and I can even time bomb the front wolf to try and debuff the caster, because I think 4-inch will probably catch him. And in retrospect, too, I mean, I'm going to interject here a little bit. You know, when I first saw that you did that, I was like, wow, okay, so he's kind of in the middle of all my guns. I've got Stormwall, I got Thorn, Stormstrider at the time. Once you killed the Stormstrider, I was like, now I have to try and I just rolled damage, I think, on the Warp Wolf or something, I think.
Yes, I'm moving the Warpwolf up.
Yeah.
I'm not confident that the Skinwalkers, the Gatorman posse are going to be enough. So I decide, screw it. I'm not going to die for lack of protection on Kruger.
Right.
That Stalker is going to have to be sacrificed.
So yeah, like I was saying, I mean, like in my mind, because you took out, you know, pretty much a heavy gun platform for me, because I moved up much further than I should have. I was looking at it, I said, well, the amount of resources that it's going to take me to clear out what I need to clear out, and still get a heavy hitter or something that, you know, could reliably kill Kruger into it. I was weighing my options, and then once you moved, is that Snapjaw? Is that right?
Yep, Snapjaw's moving up.
Once you move Snapjaw into the zone, I assessed the situation and decided that I should be able to kill maybe 2 heavies on my turn. I felt like I had enough firepower, and I figured it was going to be a feat turn for me because you didn't pop your feat, and I figure it's better for me to kind of lock you down and force you to pop it defensively. So turn goes back to me, so I mark off the Squire, I go up to 9 focus. And the plan at this time was I wasn't sure how hard necessarily the Black 13th were going to be able to shoot. So I wanted to have enough resources out on the Stormwall and on Thorn that if something didn't go right, that between the firepower possibly from the Stormwall or the charging in, or, you know, Thorn's probably gonna get busy with mixing it up in some melee here. I needed to kill 2 heavies and then try and lock you down. So that was my plan going into it. I looked at it and I was like, I'm not sure that I really had the resources to kill Kruger. Yeah, so let's see here. So
I was surprised that you were that worried about Snapjaw, considering how easy I figured it would be for you to kill Kruger. I think if you had focused everything in on Kruger, I think you could have had him.
Yeah, I mean, I think in retrospect you're probably right. But the thing is that with the feat, being able to kill him with the Stormwall, because the gun mages weren't going to be able to do it, because Submerge pretty much just takes that completely out of the equation. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get him out of the zone, lock you down for a turn, and then basically try and come back and just basically lock up the zone on the far away from us. Basically, you know, just run Black 13th if I needed to, get Thorn in there if I had to, and just basically kind of just stop you from scoring and basically try to win on the scenario. And I figured that if I could get rid of Snapjaw and that Feral in front of me, that a lot of the hitting power that could threaten the Stormwall would probably be out of the list. So I think the first thing, and I'm asking about something that I guess really didn't matter. And for some reason I thought that the Winter Argus was a Winter Argus, which I think comes into play. I think later. I think
That was all part of my cunning plan.
Yeah. You
Confuse
confuse me and trick me.
confuse you with models being proxied.
So I'm sorry. Kruger is sitting on 2 Fury right now, right? And
Yes.
He's got Stormwall, and you
I did cast Stormwall.
did
That's
cast
why he's
Stormwall.
sitting at 2.
did not pop feet.
And he
No,
did not
I
pop
couldn't because
Okay.
there's no point in popping his feet where he was at the beginning of his activation. Because the goal was to get Stormwall into the feet.
Now, what he could have done is he
Not-
could have ran his Gators where they are now,
Sure.
and then charged in and popped feet, which would have locked me down and put me in a terrible position.
Yes, I could have. Why didn't I think of that?
Because yeah.
I'm good at this game.
Yeah, so I was thinking that you had made a mistake and played it out as if you popped your feet. But if that's the case, I agree with Nick. I don't know why you didn't just charge a Gatorman. And pop
Yeah,
your feet.
I'm looking at it here. Probably all you need to do is Black 13th, kill that now painted werewolf. Stormwall walks up, double boosts both his big guns, and that should be all.
Yeah, it seems like
Well, that takes my 2 transfers off the table, and
and
then
then TK one of the Gatormen out, and then Thorn can probably just charge in and finish him.
Thorn or that focus goes to Deadeye on the Blazers because they're speed 9, even with Stormwall. He gets them all within like 3 inches of Kruger, and he just dies to Pow-10s.
And this is my shining moment because I was like, I have a 10-inch start range. I'm going to place the base 10 inches, and Alex is like, yeah, that looks about 10 inches, and I'm like, sweet, I can count to 10. Yeah, I think you guys are right. I think my thing is that much like Alex, I've been on the wrong end of those kind of attempted assassinations, and then in retrospect, I kick myself. I'm like, I could have just maybe played a little stronger, more for scenario for attrition. So I decided I want to go into Snapjaw.
Yeah. In this case, I think I left you such a good odds assassination that you could have. You should have gone for it.
Yeah, and you're kind of missing the point of a recorded game. You're supposed to embarrass your opponent,
Oh,
shame them,
oh yeah.
into just throwing those beautifully painted models into the garbage.
Yes. I don't deserve the Stormwall. Like, you killed Snapjaw, you didn't kill Kruger. Like, put him on eBay. He's done.
You want the classy move? I could suggest throwing my Stalker at Kruger.
Oh,
That would have been a good one too.
that could have been, yeah. So now I'm just punching into Snapjaw, Electro Leap going into the tree, doing massive amounts of damage to Snapjaw.
Actually, the more I think of it, I like that assassination vector really a lot. You knock down 2 Gatormen and Kruger and the Stalker, so none of them are hard to hit, and then you just dump 6 boosted Pow-10s into Kruger, plus Thorn.
Yeah.
Just have Thorn, give Thorn like 1 and charge him in.
I have been accused of being too passive when I play. I think maybe I need to fix that.
So Stormwall easily kills Snapjaw, not a surprise there.
Yeah.
I
And then,
think you've got
I
1
place-
extra focus. You're going to drop your pod, which I'm not sure why they weren't on the table, but
Oh, I think they were still in my bag because we'd moved tables. Remember, we had set up on the other side of Game Shop, so I just brought my models that were already out over.
that's fine. You boost damage there because why not? Stormwall is pretty legit.
And then you remind me that that's actually a Gator, and then I'm like, oh wow, I'm what an idiot! Like, I couldn't believe I forgot that. And so I think I'm dice off 8 or something like that. Something ridiculous.
Yeah. 8 if he's engaged.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
You gave me shit about moving the felt around.
Yeah, no, that's. I'm not even sure how that got moved right there. Maybe I have a bit of a hangnail, right?
And then I actually killed him because that was the one that the Gorax had, I think, had attacked. And I was like, and I asked you, I said,
four
is that
boxes
one?
left.
Yeah. I was like, is that one taking any damage? And you're like, yep.
Gonna have to have a stern talk with that Gorax about what side he's fighting for here.
He saw blue in the swans. He's like, yeah, that's my boys.
I think my Gorax strongly disproves of proxied models. That's the problem.
So I think I'm. What am I doing here? I think I'm moving up Haley.
Gonna go dominate that zone.
No, I don't. I think actually I decided not to try and dominate it. I think. Let's see what I do here. So the gun mages walk up, and you got Stormwall up. So I think only a couple of them were actually able to do anything as far as like firepower wise or whatnot. But I decided to walk up. I wanted to try and knock down the. I think I wanted to knock down the Stalker is what I wanted to do because I figured with a knockdown Stalker, obviously the TK would stick if I needed that, and then the boosted Pow-10s from the Black 13th, and then if I needed to move over the Blazers, Def 5 instead of Def 14 is kind of a big swing. So, and so
At this point, you're not contesting the zone, so are you planning to commit something this turn?
Well, Nick's scoring it with the Stormwall right now.
Oh, he's talking about the
I'm
other
talking
one.
about the zone on the top of the screen.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
So what's going to happen is the Blazers, they're going to move, and then I think Light Cav back into the zone.
Yeah, it's not hard to contest with light cap models on the table. Just scoot one in. Doesn't even matter where it was when it was doing its combination.
Yeah, and so the way that I roll this is blue are the attack rolls, and then red is the distance that I push you if I hit. And hit, no knockdown, push you 2 inches, and then it's a POW 10 on armor 17. And I don't think...
Push you way out of range, I would think.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, and then I think after that, most of the other shots, I think I had to take were snipe shots, which should be, I think, range 9 or something at this point in time. So yeah, I'm just trying to nickel and dime. I'm trying to pepper them. I mean, the Signar list that I have outside of the Stormwall really isn't that heavy-handed. So I'm relying on POW 10s or boosted POW 10s to get it done. It's kind of more of a precision style army. And so what I do here is I shoot the pod because I don't want the Gatorman to have the unyielding bonus, which I think kind of doesn't matter later on, but I thought it was a good idea at the time. I thought it was being brilliant.
There are definitely times when shooting your own pods when you're done with them is very important.
Yeah, like if you're playing Chromac and you don't want him to get Warpath triggers off those stupid things.
You do not want Mullet Karn to sidestep with off of a storm pod. That is a bad thing. I play Signar as well, and I'm not sure I've ever lost a game to a storm pod, one of my own. I've definitely blocked my own charge lanes with them. That's not good.
So right now what I'm doing is I'm checking to see if I charge that gun mage, I should be able to get into the zone. But what I decided to do instead is I decided to TK through Thorn onto the Stalker. And Alex just double checking me, make sure the measurement's good. And,
It looked close.
Yep.
Always good to.
So I need
check.
6. I stick it. And I just turn the Stalker around. And Alex is beautifully painted models. I didn't want to manhandle them, so we do that. Yeah, I think I just brought him just a little closer. I could have reaction drive at this point in time, and that's actually an ability that I think I should have used, and it's something that could be important later on. So I decided to pop my feet. And what did I do? I think just checking my control. And Alex is like, "Oh, you could shoot him with the gun," and I was like, "Nope, only range 7."
Always shoot either of Haley's guns, P or E Haley, when you get a chance.
Absolutely.
It's a POW 12, even if you're not boosting it. There's nothing wrong with shooting a hand cannon.
That's right. So I decided to tow up on the hill. Checking to see what I got. I got most of his army. I think it was just the couple of support pieces in the back, like the tree, the Gorax, obviously Wrong Eye.
The Blackclad's out.
Yeah, and the Blackclad.
I think Wrong Eye's
that want
in,
to go
but
first.
Right.
Yeah.
So so I just tow on the hill. So now the Black 13th are walking up, and these guys are just going to do some brutal damage, checking to make sure I'm within 5. And they so hits, and then I'm dice -7, and I do 5 damage. I think I actually get quite good damage rolls. I was actually really surprised. And I feel bad because Alex and I had another game where we played Baldur 2 against my Cray list, and I had some unbelievable dice and shot a battle engine off the table under Roots of the Earth, which probably shouldn't have happened.
There we go.
But yeah, that was super hot. I think it was 665. I think, and then I think I got one more shot, and stick the shot, and I think. I think I did. Just enough to kill him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, wow. And Alex is like, it's just a stalker. Like they're not, they're not.
Yeah, you do anything to drop a Stalker's defense, and suddenly they are not looking so hot. 25 boxes, arm 17.
So now what I do is I swap Arcane Shield from Stormwall on the Thorn because I believe Thorn's going to be up in the mix of things. And so, let's see, what did I decide to do? I think I decided, I don't know. Oh yeah, I was out of range with Stormwall. I was like, why didn't I just shoot his gun? So then we do some maneuvering. Gonna move up here. Careful to stay out of that stalker's attack range. Alex is immediately eyeballing the assassination plan. He's like, you didn't kill me, I'm going to kill you.
Nick decided to give me an opportunity here, so I'm already thinking about how to do it. So, what were the Blazers shooting at? The Gators?
I think one of the Gators, yeah. I saw 6, I think.
What? I don't think you shot the one that's a white main there. If you had, you probably could have just killed me with Thorn, or potentially. But for whatever reason, you ended up shooting at spreading. I think you spread your shots there. That one's in one of the guys in the other unit.
I think 2 of them tried to go at the same guy, and then one of them had to go at somebody else. Because I think 3 on 1 Gator should probably kill him. I just think I didn't have quite the damage rolls that I needed. And then here I just light cav back into the zone, basically to try and contest it. And then I move him out of the way because Thorn needs to get in there. So now I decide that Thorn needs to get up and into the mix. So I charge him, I think I charge him max distance. I try to get him base to base, yeah. And so I take my charge attack at him. I think I miss. Take my shield attack. Also misses. So I'm like, all right, it's going to be like that. So
fair enough. If you had killed that Gator, Thorn wasn't going to kill with those kind of rolls.
Oh, sure, yeah. So I hit, I think I had boost damage on that point. I saw 5.
So that positioning ended up being very key to how my turn goes here. Thorn was not in a spot that I really cared for him to be in.
Correct.
So. Also, I should not have moved that guy considering how close my assassination run was going to be.
Yeah.
Better to keep models precise than
right.
Especially when I'm proxying things. It's just need to say that model's the leader now.
So I go up to 1-0 at this point in time.
And yeah, it looks like that's the end of your turn.
That's it, yeah.
All right, so my caster is alive. Not expecting that. I'm not expecting to be able to do anything because it's his feet turn. So my only hope is that I can engineer some way for Kruger to get the assassination on Haley. He's got a 12-inch threat under her feet with his gun.
Yes. By
TKing himself and then shooting. Range 10, POW 12, sustained attack, or rate of fire 3. So the idea is Kruger TKs out of combat, takes his shots, you're a 16 on the hill, he'll need a 10.
Yeah. So here is the part of my feat turn that I made a huge mistake on, I think.
Yeah, so I wasn't the only one who made a bunch of stupid mistakes this game.
I made the biggest mistake that I made was that I activated the Gatorman posse that Thorn is engaged with. And you'll see why it ends up being a kind of a crucial mistake. But the idea was, the reason why I wanted to activate them first was simply because I knew they really couldn't do a lot of damage to Thorn. And I figured that if he tried to beat on Thorn, that Thorn would, pretty much be safe for a round. And it's not very hard to TK Thorn, get some reaction drives, maybe grab at the Stalker, and maybe Thorn can kind of get lucky and beat on him a little bit or something. So
instead you activate, or not instead, but you decide to activate the posse first.
The posse first, yeah.
And I go into the plan of block line of sight to from Thorn to Kruger, so he can get a better position on his gun.
Yep.
Once he TKs himself, because right now, the best place for him is going to be still engaged, and that is not something I can afford to do because I can't shoot while engaged.
That is correct.
She's currently how far away?
She is in a straight line about 11 and a half. So unfortunately, if you had activated the posse that are being proxied by skinwalkers, I think I would have had a much better line. But activating the unpainted unit of proxied gators was at least made it much more difficult.
Yeah, that looks damn close.
Yeah, we're gonna see here. He's activating pretty much everything else except for Kruger.
Yep.
Then we'll get to him and we'll see just how close it is.
Yeah.
So Stalker riles a couple just in case, but I'm gunning for the assassination here. I think the one posse that's engaged with Thorn swings. Everyone else moves up. Just marking my prayers with the Gators.
Yep.
Those tokens. So yeah, like I said, I'm all in on the assassination here. So this is all incidental.
I
Maybe
think it took a free strike for something. I don't remember, and nothing happened. I don't think.
that roll was a command check on the Blazers.
Command check. Yeah. Yep.
Knocking over my own models like a boss, and Gatorman, I think he just missed.
Swings a thorn, maybe. Yeah. All right. So here is. I think Kruger's left, and then the rest is you, I believe.
Yep. So all important. Kruger activation. He has full 7, which is just enough to do his job because the ideal Kruger ranged assassination needs 6 Fury. He can do it with 5. That's a boost to hit, 2 to buy his second and third shots, and that leaves him with just the 2 for 2 boosts with needing his 6th and 7th Fury for TK. So if he doesn't need TK, he can get 3 boosted POW 12s. But as you can see, Haley is sitting on nothing. Dice off 2 boosts does. The 2 boosted shots should do it by themselves.
Yeah.
The third shot's really insurance at that point. And here we go.
Yeah. So you're in range.
Kruger TK is on that proxy to where the proxy base is, and I am probably 9 7/8 away, maybe 9 15/16.
Yeah, we check with the spray. I thought you were in. Just wanted
It
to double
is
check.
super close.
Touches the base, and I was like, "Yep, you got it."
So at this point, we're at 6. Because there's Gators in the way, I'm not engaging or engaged by Thorn.
So I'm defense 18 at this point. And
That's right, you're at an 18. I needed 12. That's why I
12.
thought, when I said 10 earlier, I was like, that can't be right.
Sticks to 12.
But I rolled exactly a 12,
Yep.
6, 4, 2. And from here on, it should be academic. I decide better to boost the first shot, although at this state in the game, once I've hit the first one, it really doesn't matter which one I boost since they're auto hit. Boost dice off 2, it looks like a 3 and a... I didn't actually see the other one, but
You did about 5 or 6 or something.
I want to say I did 6 or 8 damage on the first shot. Second shot, I can see a 5 there. So looking at your card, I think you have 2 or 3 left.
You need like a 5 to kill her or something.
And there's a
it
5
is.
on 1 die.
There it is.
Game ends with an assassination.
There it is.
So, as you can see, lots of mistakes on both sides. Kruger gets activated first by Haley's feet. None of this even happens because there's nowhere that Kruger could have gone that would have been both in range and unengaged by Thorn.
Right. I think too. I probably could have probably cast Deceleration. Save that focus on Thorn. I think still TK the Warwolf or the Warpwolf.
And just put 3 on Stormwall?
Yeah, and then
Because
maybe
you need one more if that's your plan.
Well, remember the last focus that the Stormwall used was on the pod. He only boosted the damage on the pod, so he still kills Snapjaw.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I would have or just back up, I guess like another 2 inches or 1.5 inches or something.
Well, I feel like if you'd committed more into this scenario, if you had positioned a gun mage so that you're charging and you're going to end up facing the right way and it'd be toe on the hill and in the zone and camping some focus, then you're probably a lot better off here.
Yeah, just better positioning. Yeah, I agree.
Also, if you hadn't cheated, there might be another stalker on the board.
Yeah, now that I think about this, the only thing that damaged that stalker was Black 13, and maybe a point or 2 from the one gun mage shot. So,
well, if it makes you feel any better, the cab did nothing, so it's kind of like one of those things where, like, I guess karma. It's like, oh, you want to cheat? Like, your cab will do nothing. They don't kill anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh. But yeah, I mean, in retrospect, activate Kruger first or positioning it a little better. And obviously, Alex does the same thing on his side where he runs a posse member up, charges them in the back and feats, and then puts me on the back foot.
Yeah, this is a good example of like the wacky shit that can happen in games.
Yeah, absolutely.
This in a perfect world, this game would have never happened because you both made some mistakes that changed how it resulted.
It goes to show inexperience with lists and casters too, because I actually didn't even consider charging a Gator until you guys brought it up right now.
Yeah.
That would have completely worked, and I should have done that.
Yeah, it's kind of like an archetype of a feat. If you haven't used casters that have pulse feats,
Yeah,
very often.
playing Circle and Signar as my main factions, I have very few feats that pulse offensively like that. You got casters like Epic Striker, but that's all friendly models, so he never really cares about needing to be in a certain position for it, especially with the distance it can affect being model unit.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of any other pulse feats in those two factions that work similar to Kruger, and not coming up with too many.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I mean, overall, I think number one, don't put the Black 13 on the list where they shouldn't go, and I guess just position a little better. And it's really important too to understand with Haley, especially to understand what your opponent's tricks are and their order of activations. I feel like she, much like Kruger, is a caster that scales with skill, and particularly on her feet and how to use her spells, because it's very easy to sit on no focus and then just be kind of out in the wind. And it's important also, obviously, in this situation to understand that Kruger will kill her dead if she is sitting on no focus and he gets a beat on her. So, yeah.
So as a test run for the list for Signar, Alex, you think it's working out? Or
I need some more practice with it, definitely. Kruger's positioning on the board is super critical with Stormwall against Signar in particular. With a lot of range 14 guns, he basically has to be front and center.
Right.
And a savvy Signar player is still going to be able to get some shots off. So
I feel like this table is a little atypical of what you might see. Like, usually you'd have something in the center, and that might help.
That is
him
true.
Being able to be up there with Stormwall with his feet and be protected by cover or a line of sight blocker. This is a very open table. Like, to be dead center like that, getting the most out of your feet and Stormwall, you're really exposing yourself.
yeah, and I'd like to squeeze some stones in. Stones definitely help him a lot, being able to charge up, use his feet, and then get teleported back.
Sure.
But the points in the list are so tight that really the only option, as I see it right now, is trading in Wrong Eye and Snapjaw for the full set of 2 stones with 1 UA and some 4-point option, most likely Lord of the Feast, since he does a similar job to Wrong Eye and Snapjaw. But I want to experiment with the minions. I think the 2 of them do the job really well. Hold the zone by themselves. Like I said, my deployment was bad. If they had been in the top zone, I could have just left it alone, because Blazers and a Stormstrider don't do anything. So he's forced to start redeploying them towards the other zone where all my posse and stalkers are, and then Wrong Eye and Snapjaw just say, okay, we get this zone now. Start scoring points every turn.
I think one thing too, if you did, now that I'm thinking, if you did 2 units of stones, you might actually even be able to charge a unit of stones, feet, TK yourself back, and then have that unit of stones teleport you back to safety. So like behind a wall. Or
Yeah, definitely. That's another option. I've done that plenty of times with casters like Haley and Cassius, where if you have a place effect that you can cast before the attack via a spell, you can place yourself, and then you're not failing the charge, because even though your target's out of your melee, you still completed the successful charge before.
Yeah, it's when you injure movement.
Yeah, you check successful charge, and then there's a time in your activation where you can cast spells before you make attacks.
But yeah, overall, I think the matchup's really interesting. We'll definitely have to play it again when I have the right amount of points and you get the list under your fingertips. I still think it's a hard matchup for me. I think that the firepower that I have and the board control that I have still kind of keeps you honest. But I still think it's a tough matchup for me nonetheless. Maybe Cray against Kruger, but even then, I'm still kind of suspect on that. But we'll see. So
how do you feel the Kruger 2 list plays versus Menoth? Because I've in theory hated that matchup, but I have never gotten much practice against Kruger 2 with my Menoth.
I think it'd probably do all right. I'm actually not certain which of my 3 lists in a Master style event I would drop against Menoth. Morvana and Chromac being most likely my other 2, both do pretty well against Protectorate as well. So honestly, I don't like playing against Menoth, but I'm not unhappy with any of my 3 lists against them. It really come down to looking at the opponent's 3 lists on the other side of the table.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you've still got the range hate going on, but Menoth might be able to deal better with Gators that are just kind of running to engage.
Yep.
Although
Gators are a big pain in my side. I haven't really figured out a great answer for them yet.
You just have to keep nickel and diming them, or you have to. I mean, the best way that I found to deal with them is just shoot him with boosted bow tens, or I mean the Storm Strider, because Alex and I played a game immediately after this, and the Storm Strider can actually do quite a bit of work once he gets some beads in on him, and with temporal acceleration and Deadeye, he can just go crazy on those guys. But
yeah, I imagine anything that stops the Gators from charging or receiving orders would be strong against them as well.
Yeah, you could even fear of God them, which is that's never happened.
Put the fear of God in those freaking Gators.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
not sure I like this list against Harbinger, but
All right, guys.
we would see.
That's it from us.